We met with Utah-based recording artist Ryan Innes at Bam Bam's Barbecue in Orem to talk about his creative process in making music and what it takes to connect with an audience during a live show.
You can make music, you write music, you create and produce music. That's one skill of being an artist in my mind.
Yeah.
That's one part of it, but performing is something different. It is different.
Yeah.
You need more of a connection to make it work, right? So, I mean, where do you conjure the emotion, needed for the whole show?
Well, I think it's not necessarily about conquering. I think it's just being already passionate and involved in what you've done. You've created these songs hopefully from a place of authenticity, of true emotion, and you can tap into that every time you play those songs because it actually has a meaning every time you play it. I can get up there and be very creative, Ryan, and just talk about my songs, really kind of be, more introspective with it and just be like, it's all about my songs, it's all about it. But I need to make sure that the energy I'm creating on stage is something that's going out and not about you having to come to me and you having to validate me and my songs and my creativity. So I think creative moments are when you can go inside and it is all about what's happening in here and what's the authentic self trying to talk about. But then you need to learn to flip that and make that energy go out when you're starting to perform.
When you're backstage or when you're side stage, what's going on in your mind, and when you hear the music, you hear the crowd, and it's your show that is about to start. What's going through your mind? Yeah. Maybe, for example, the Boyz II Men openers that they performed at.
I was thinking, I was thinking in my head, I hope I got the right set list, where I picked the right beginning and ending song and everything in between to have a good flow. That they're, I don't leave them bored or do too many slow songs in a row. And finally, it's just learning to let go for a second of all of those things that I might be thinking about. Yeah. And just relax and be like, okay, I've done everything I can to be at this moment, and I've been prepared to be ready. I'm just going to go up and have a good time and enjoy it and really try and connect to the songs and really try and connect to the people that are there to.
And then after I talked,
so it's at some point it's just learning to let go and be like, okay, I'm not going to worry about what happens the rest of this. I'm just going to have fun.
Wow. So preparation is a big part of it.
You got to prepare, yeah. But then before you're going on, or even an hour or so before, just learn to let go and be ready to do whatever happens on stage.
So it's almost been a year since The Voice,
right.
Season 4. It's almost been a year. You were in Music 4 before that, and playing in public and everything, performing. I want to talk about your process a little bit. And songwriting. Let's use So Far Away as an example.
Okay.
Where were you a year ago? And where are you now in your songwriting?
Oh. A year ago I was doing a lot of co-writing, which I still do. I wasn't writing as much a year ago. I was mostly performing. I was in that mode mostly. And I was kind of in the process of creating my live show more than I was writing. I had a lot of material from before that I just hadn't put into a live show. And so I was developing the band, I was developing the set list, I was developing the flow of songs and talking in between. I was developing just a persona on stage and being comfortable doing that and playing out live. And now I'm more in the writing phase and more in the creation phase, and that song So Far Away came from July of last year when I got back from The Voice. I rented a cabin in the mountains up in Big Cottonwood Canyon. I rented it from Corey Mon, and I was also beginning to date a girl who lived in St. George, and she was far away, and there's this long distance that was not the funnest thing to do, and so one night I was talking on the phone, and I was in my cabin in the mountains, and she was in St. George, and I always had this thing about the rain. Anytime it started to rain, whether it was at another place I used to live or in the cabin, it just always kind of got me. It always made me feel something. And one night it was just raining, and I was by myself in the cabin in the mountains, and I was really missing her, and I don't even remember really thinking about writing that song, but the first lyrics of the song came out, I can't stand the rain when you're so far away. and that was just the beginning of the whole song. And it even was a melody, and it was a lyric, and I had the chord. Everything just kind of like happened, and I feel like it was because I was just in a space that I had kind of designated and set up to be creative. So when I allowed myself to be present with that, and allowed myself to just be there, stuff happened.
So then, how do you know when you're done with the song?
Oh, I don't think you ever.
Finding the right word, right? The right mix. How do you know?
There's few songs that I know that I actually feel like I've done and finished. Most songs I feel like it's like, okay, I'm not gonna try and mess with this anymore. I could switch things all up and I could rehash all this if I wanted to and rewrite all this, but I feel like I just have to like let it be, kind of give up on it, move to the next one, move to the next one.
Yeah, that must be hard for an artist, right?
For all artists, I think any songwriter, any painter, anyone that is in creative, they have so much unfinished things all over the place, and the things that you actually, as a viewer, get to view or get to experience are things that they feel are done enough. This is to a point where I feel like I can present it. In my opinion, I don't feel like I've ever had a song where I just was like, that's it. And maybe one or two, but most of them are kind of like, I'm just gonna let this live now.